Officers get the blues too. Hey, I am Chuck the Bureaucrat, and not long ago I posted a video about a special group of enlisted personnel that I take special joy in, the League of Disgruntled Specialists. Basically, these are guys who know how the Army game is played, but they're not going to make sergeant, and they're usually not going to stick around any longer than they have to. Oh, and they usually have a fairly legitimate axe to grind with the brass. I mean, fairly legitimate. But apparently, I forgot about another group of people with a kind of similar name. They call themselves the League of Disgruntled Majors. I know, I'm guilty of cultural appropriation. It's just absolutely terrible. But, to be honest, one of the reasons that it's terrible is that I don't take the disgruntled majors nearly as seriously as I do the enlisted. In the case of the specialists, they are usually within their first 4 years in the military, and they're running face first into the fact that, maybe a military life is not the life for you. But with the majors, these guys are usually 12, 13 years into their career, never mind the years they spent at academy or in ROTC. These guys are almost certainly lifers, and while they're going through the doldrums, and there's no doubt about that, what they're experiencing is more a phase of their career than anything else. It's routine, predictable, and almost always curable. So if you are a major going through your age of disgruntlement, here's my take, and I don't mean this in a hurtful way. At any point in time, you, me, anybody who gets assigned a task, they're either competent or incompetent in the performance of that task. And we are either conscious or unconscious of our level of competency. When you are unconscious of your incompetence, you can just blissfully go through life. Unconscious competence, well, that can be stressful. I mean, you worry that you're not good enough, but at least you're delivering results. Conscious competence, well, it's good, but it risks arrogance and hubris. But the most painful quadrant of all of these is conscious incompetence. Knowing that you don't know what to do. Knowing that those around you are outperforming you. Knowing that your boss expects more, but not really knowing how to meet those expectations. And tragically, this is where so many of those majors find themselves. Trapped, maybe for the first time in their career, in conscious incompetence. You see, company-grade jobs, lieutenant, captain, well, they tend to place officers in charge of units, and those units tend to be full of competent NCOs and enlisted. The officer gets to lead without being solely and independently responsible for delivering results. And sure, thousands of lieutenants get to have that gut-churning experience of conscious incompetence as they get their unit lost in the woods. But, assuming your NCOs are not complete idiots, you probably have your own version of my Sergeant Hanson who would tap me on the shoulder and say, "Hey, don't worry, LT. I knew where we were the whole time." Majors do not get that luxury. They have to face a room full of people who are ready to scalp their organization for $3 million, and if they miss the shot, there is nobody to pick up the rebound. I have seen some remarkably talented officers just crumble under the weight of conscious incompetence. Fear that they are not good enough, and more importantly, that they will never be good enough. But so what? I mean, what do you do? Well, number one, recognize that this is a phase. It's a phase that many, many officers have passed through before. In fact, to a certain extent, it's almost like a rite of passage. And that brings us to number 2. I mean, as much as your bosses know that you're not delivering, they're also watching to see how you rise above that experience. Do you buckle down and try to learn what you don't know? Do you put in the extra time to get it right the second or third or fourth time? Do you reach out to get help or advice? Heck, do you even listen to advice when it's given to you? Do you try to grow? Your boss wants you to grow, and he wants to see signs that you can grow. And then, finally, there's this. I keep using that word, incompetent, but I mean incompetent with respect to a specific task. I could put a fish in charge of teaching the kangaroos to box, and he would feel like the single most incompetent creature on earth. But that doesn't mean that he isn't damn competent at a whole bunch of other things. And so don't let your assignment define you as a total person. In fact, by the time you make major, you should be figuring out what types of assignments make good use of your skills. And if you want to see my thoughts on that, watch this video.